All right, so this is a communicator for the month of September 2019, and heck, I'm glad to be doing this. You guys know we're trying to do some different things regarding communication of the Master Brewers membership, and that is through the video formats. And of course, we're always going to do the written word, and I'll send that out as well. And so what we're seeing is a whole bunch of hits out there on the YouTube channel, and a lot of people from outside the organization are starting to see the value in what we're doing in the Master Brewers. And it's really truly starting to be a real international thing, and that's really on purpose why we do this. And by the way, I got some really good feedback from some folks here. Actually in Fort Collins, I'm at the University of Colorado State. I'm going to teach a course this morning, and they were talking about how convenient it is to be able to on the road and do this safely when you're on the road. It's almost like a podcast. You can just kind of hit that and you can listen to what's going on in the Master Brewer. So we think that's really good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about safety first. There's going to be some really exciting stuff that's going to happen this next month, and it's coming out of our safety committee, of course, and Brian Godfrey's leading that. And what it's going to be talking about is lockout, tagout, and I will add tryout. So about de-energizing equipment. We know that we work on equipment that you want to make sure that it's completely disabled before you get into it, and make sure that all that stored energy in the mechanical systems has been reduced, so to speak. So we want to make sure that everybody in our organization knows to keep lockout and tag out, and again, try out is one of those things that they do as a matter of practice. I don't want to talk too much about Structural Implementation Task Force because we have a special guest that's going to join us today. His name is Andy Tavikram, and I think most people in the organization are familiar with Andy. He's had a many roles within the Master Brewers, notably our technical chair for quite a few years, and he helps to manage and run the Ask the Brewmaster section. So we're going to have him on in just a minute. But I do want to point out one thing. I often get, Toby, it's a good idea that we're prioritizing, we're using business models to be able to manage what we do at the Master Brewers, and it helps us to be more efficient. I would tell you that our committee chairs are just clamoring to get this information from the local districts. Why is that important to the committee chairs? Because once we decide what we want to do as an organization, their marching orders or their kind of the direction of their technological, I don't know, their work, their projects comes directly from our membership. So once we decide what we want to do as an organization, it becomes very easy to disseminate that information back down to the committee level with very clear direction, so they're not guessing about what we need to do. And I think that's a real benefit. In fact, I know it's a real benefit, and we're going to get there. So I don't want to belabor the point. Andy's going to make the point. So Andy's going to come on here in just a second. He's going to talk about the Structural Implementation Task Force, and again about the two experiences we've had, one in Columbus and at the District Rocky Mountain here just this last month. And as well, he's going to talk about something really cool that's going to happen in Calgary, and it's going to be what's called Ask the Brewmaster. And we've got some great guests that are coming in, absolute professionals in their trade, and we're going to be talking about the hot side, so brew house operations all the way up to the point of filling fermenters. So it's an open forum that's going to happen in Calgary, and I'm just hoping that you're going to be there. So Andy, why don't you take it from there?
Thanks, Toby. So I'm Andy Tavikram, and I am with the Market Garden Brewery here in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been a district officer for, a little over 10 years now with two different districts. I've also served as the National Technical Chair for 4 years. And most lately, I've been working on the Structural Integration Task Force for the past couple of years. And that's been really rewarding to see this process unfold, where we're redefining how our board of governors interacts with the executive and the whole overall structure of the organization. And it's pretty exciting to me to see this happening. And we started out recently this summer by polling 2 districts as kind of a beta test of this process of gathering information for the board to then bring to the Calgary conference. So we did this at District Midwest, which is my district, and then we followed up with one at District Rocky Mountain. And at our Midwest meeting, I think it was really a great process. We handed out little cards for people to write their ideas on, and then we put them into categories, and then we selected the top ranked categories by volume of responses. And it is a really good tool, and we're going to continue to refine it, but it's going to give the Board of Governors a lot of ideas to work with And I think more importantly, a side benefit we hadn't even considered, but it does so much for the districts to give their officers an opportunity to really get good feedback on what the actual district members want to hear about and learn about. So that's kind of a great benefit on both sides that we kind of didn't anticipate. Speaking of Calgary, this is where our next national meeting is going to be, and I hope everybody that is available will get to come out there. It's going to be a really good conference. Attendance records already are looking pretty good. Let me just promote something that's near and dear to my heart because I'm moderating this panel. It's called Ask the Brewmasters, Hot Side Operations. We did one last year on cold side operations with 4 speakers and myself as moderator. That was a really great session. This year, we're going to do it again, but we're going to move it to the hot side. We have a great lineup of presenters. We have Travis Audette from ABI. And we have Molly Browning, who's with Lalaman Brewing, and she's also the National Technical Committee Vice Chair. We have Otto Ottolini, who many people know. He's with Brew Hub. And we have Alan Kornhauser, who's with Pabst, and he's got maybe the greatest resume I've ever seen for a brewer because I think he's brewed on just about every country on the planet, or at least it seems that way. So it's going to be a really good session. So I hope those of you who are in attendance at Calgary can get there and show up and ask questions because that's what it's all about. And finally, I just wanted to touch on one of the things that I think is really great about the Master Brewers, and that is just networking opportunities. I said I've been involved in this for a while, and district meetings and the national meetings are just such tremendous opportunities for networking. Recently, in my brewery, we had a little project that we've been tossing back and forth to validate, just go deeper into this project. I was able to reach out to 2 much larger breweries, million barrel kind of size breweries, and ask them if they would help us with this process because they had some resources that we didn't have. So a brewery in Pennsylvania and another one here in Southern Ohio, just by an email and a phone call, I was able to get them to say, sure, yeah, come on in, let's run these tests. And if I wasn't active in the Master Brewers and I didn't have these connections, that just would not have been able to happen. Just cold calling at somebody at a large brewery like that, you're not going to get a response. There's just tremendous opportunities in the Master Brewers, not only for education, but networking, socializing, and it's all about having fun and learning things. That's my little bit. I'll turn it back over to Toby.
All right, Andy, thanks very much for that. I'm getting really excited about it as well. I can't wait for Calgary. I know we're all going to freeze up there, but gosh dang it, we're going to have a great time. And I don't want to belabor the point too much, but make sure you're looking in your calendar. Make sure you got your passports ready. Remember, going to Canada, you got to have that before you get onto the plane. So anyway, we will talk to you again next month as we're preparing plans, as we get our board of directors ready for the next steps in the Structural Implementation Task Force, and teaching them and teaching our districts how to be able to manage the prioritization process. I appreciate your attention, and we'll talk to you next month.